First question, in regard to rebirth, can you explain no self in depth? I came upon it in my reading that the Buddha rejected the notion of a soul, that there is nothing we can anchor that is solid in our bodies or mind. Thanks. Now, first of all, let's define what do we mean by self. When we say self, yourself, myself, it's regarding your body, a body. So what is a self? What is a self made up of? The self is made up of the 5 skandhas. The way we look at self. How does a sentient being look at a self? We look at a self. When we look at a self comprises the 5 aggregates or the 5 khandhas. Let's put 1 on this side and 4 on this side, so altogether 5. On this side, matter, what is matter? You have a body, right? A self must have a body. Your eyes, your nose, your ears, your hair, your nails, your liver, your kidneys, your heart, your stomach, you name it. You've got matter in you. Other than the physical part. The physical part is, of course, you can do the body. You also have the metaphysical part. Your feelings, your perception, your eyes, your nose, your ear. When you perceive things, when you listen to things, when you taste, when you touch, all this is perception. You have perception in you. Other than perception, you have to conceptualize perception. When you see a column, your eyes see, so there's perception, but you still have to conceptualize it. Oh, this is round, this is red, this is smooth, this is not a square. You got to conceptualize and discriminate, you got to analyze it, and sometimes you may have to dig onto your archive files in your mind is what is red and what is green and what is round and all that. So this conceptualization. There's more. What is that? Volition. After you conceptualize, you don't just sit there for the purpose of conceptualizing and don't do anything. You will carry out actions, behavior, or speeches, or thinking, right? You're not a piece of wood. You're not a piece of stone. After you perceive, you conceptualize, then you take action. Whatever actions, I don't know. You speak, right? So that means you are taking out volitional formation of you. So you have behavior. And some of these are good behavior, some of these are bad behavior, some of this are neutral behavior. You know what? Actually, I'm going a course of psychology now. Have you taken Psychology 100? They may not explain that. They just explain psychology in general. They don't go into details like that. But we can go, well, you told me, explain no self in depth. So I can explain until tomorrow morning. Can you stay? Because it's very detailed. It's a whole school of thought of Vijnanavadin school. And the volumes about studying self and mental afflictions and consciousness and all that, volumes, if you count the number of characters in Chinese, maybe a few billion, trillion, I don't know, uncountable. Even in English versions, if you dig into the books of Vijnanavadin, maybe 200-300 books, 300-500, I don't know. But anyway, I can't go on and on forever. I summarize it for you so that hopefully you get an A in your course. Okay, so I got matter, explained it to you. Matter is easy to explain. You are matter. You are nothing but a whole bunch of molecules in you, a whole bunch of elements in you, a whole bunch of body cells in you. What is more complicated is the spiritual side, which is perception, conception, volition. Perception and conception is a little easier to understand. Volitional action is more difficult to understand. How do you carry out your behavior? Your behavior could be good, could be bad, could be neutral. When you carry out your behavior, carry out into volitional formation, you are creating at the same time, what is that? Karma. You're creating energy. So there's volitional actions. Once you've done something, for example, you've done stealing, for example, you've done a bit of sexual misconduct, it's not just the end of it. Whatever you've done will have energy, will have karma that associate with it. You can't get away with it. It's invisible. You can't get away. There's nothing comes without a cause. Why do you come here today? For no good reason? There must be something that brought you here. So, volitionally, not just the behavior, your speech. You curse, you yell, you lie, you slander, you flatter. All these produce karma. So watch your mouth. Watch what you're talking about. Watch your behavior. So that's the volitional part. Once the volitional part is done, all this energy is stored inside of you, outside of you too. That's called karma. This karma, when you died, you cannot take anything with you. Not your bank account, not your properties in North Van, West Van, whatever you call it, $3 million, $4 million house, a mansion, $60 million mansion, swimming pool, you have a yacht, you have a pier by yourself. You can't bring any of those with you when you died. Not your jewelry, not even your own body. What can you bring with you? What is still associated and attached to you? The karma. I always like to cite that movie that maybe you get bored listening to it. Heaven Can Wait. It's just old movies. Or Ghosts in the 1990s. I don't think there's any more new movies related to Buddhism anymore. The last one I've seen is 7 Years in Tibet, The Laughing Buddha. In the Ghost, in the movie called Ghost, you can I think you can YouTube. Can you YouTube movies now? Yeah, can you? So you YouTube into Ghost and see what Patrick Swayze said before he went on to heaven. To what is this lady's name?
Whoopi Goldberg.
No, not Whoopi Goldberg. Demi Moore. What did he say? It's what is her name in the movie? Her role to play? I forgot. Anyway, he said, it's amazing. Everything you've done, you can't take with you. You only can, everything you've done, you can take with you to heaven. That's because you have done the good thing. The bad things take down you to hell. So you can't take anything with you. The karma would follow you, and then you roll into the next reincarnation path. So what am I talking about? I'm still answering this question. But you said in depth, so I don't know how much depth. So okay, let's say, okay, that's enough detail, okay? So you have volitional action, and then you have consciousness too. Remember this 4, I said 1 on this side, and 4 on this side, 4 on this side is perception, conception, volition, and what? Consciousness. Consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness explains not only of the present, of the past, and of the future. That means whatever you have done, where is it stored? Whatever you have in the keyboard, where is it stored? In the disk drive. That's your consciousness. That's stored in your life consciousness. All the bad karma, all the seeds, everything, it gets stored in there. We also call it the banking consciousness. That consciousness is so unlimited that it has no limit. Because for millions of lives, you carry that consciousness with you to reincarnation. And we call it a liar consciousness. It's invisible. Consciousness is invisible. So when you died, what died first? When you died, this one died first. You don't have your body anymore. You don't have your lung is not working, your liver, your heart, none of this is working. And all this shrink into the consciousness, and that consciousness is so invisible, it leaves your body at the very last moment, and then it becomes a bottle stage, and whenever conditions arises that you have to reincarnate, you zoom into your future mom's body, and then you become a baby. And then you get born. There's paticca samuppada. We just talked about this morning. Paticca samuppada, dependent on origination. But your question is not about psychology. Your question is about no self. You want to know, how come the Buddha talk about no self? There's no soul. There are two branches of thinking in the Buddhist teaching. Consciousness with essence is like consciousness with eternity in it. I've been always citing an example. Life, existence is just walking a long way and getting into different hotels, different bodies you've got. We're renting a room in a hotel. And sometimes we're in a 5-star hotel because you've been doing good in your previous life. You're enjoying the 5-star hotel. And in this life, you're miserable. You didn't live in a hotel. You live in an off-the-road motel, or just a bed and breakfast. You don't even have dinner. Bed and breakfast. Bowen Island, bed and breakfast. They don't have hotels in Bowen Islands, I know about. I key into Bowen Islands and no hotel in Bowen, only bed and breakfast. They're so poor that you don't even have dinner to eat. So you get into a bed and breakfast. They don't qualify a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, and 1-star. So you roll into a bed and breakfast, and then when the time comes, you're 89 years old, and then the bed and breakfast landlord says, come on, you got to get out. So you have to go. So you have to check out. So you check out. So that means you die. You go into the row and roll into another hotel. Oh, this time it could be better. You go into a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star. This time you're in a presidential ensuite. Because of what you have done. When you're in bed and breakfast, what you have done is so great. You've been so passionate. You even sacrifice your life for people. You are a hero. You were in the French Revolution, and you are one of the revolutionaries who died, who sacrificed his body for the whole nation. You're so saintly. Then you roll into a presidential ensuite. You enjoyed your ensuite. But you enjoyed it so much that you forgot about what you should do. You become the president. You become the leader of a country. And you involve yourself with corruption. You involve yourself with sensual pressures. You don't care about the mass population. You don't care about your citizens. You become a tyranny. Then you roll again into a bed and breakfast again. But then you're coming in and out, in and out, in and out in your existence. But who is that person coming in and out and in and out? It is still you, nobody else. You go in, you check in, you can check out. I couldn't check it for you. Can I check it out for you? No. That soul that you have, that self you have, in and out, that is an eternity. There's an eternity, an essence in that consciousness. So that is still that consciousness, that self. But when you practice the Buddhist teaching, the Buddhist teaching said, get rid of the conceptualization of self. It is because of that self. You always value, treasure, and so greedy with your own self that you've done all this karma. So in the practice, the technique of getting rid of yourself, but there is an eternity in you. There is an eternity, but that's two different things. There is an eternity. There's that person in and out, in and out. There's still an eternity, an essence in you, even though you change your form. Your form self has changed, but your consciousness self has not changed. And some people like to call it the soul. It hasn't changed. You roll in and out, but it hasn't changed. Now that is one school of thought of the consciousness with essence. And then when you study the Buddhism and you practice no self, that means you use the techniques of letting go yourself so that you purify yourself, then you don't have to go through these hotels again. You go onto this enlightenment path. You still have a self to go into this enlightenment path, the eternity self that attains the enlightenment, that becomes the Buddha. If there's nothing, then who is to become the Buddha? Who is responsible for reincarnation? So there must be something. Some people call it the soul. Some people call it the self. Some people call it the real self, not the fictitious self. Your fictitious self is that hotel. It's fictitious, it's impermanent, it's changing all the time. The form changed, but your consciousness hasn't changed. But still consciousness can be changed, because that consciousness that you carry yourself through, rolling into reincarnation, is a polluted consciousness. The Buddha said, follow the teaching, purify your polluted consciousness until it's one purity. The consciousness is no more pollution in it. Then that is enlightenment. No more rolling in to the different hotels. There's one school of thought that way. Another school of thought is absolutely there's no soul. There's consciousness without essence. Don't attach to any self. That's for people who attach to self. The Buddha teaches consciousness without self. Okay? For people who said, oh, there's no anchorage of a self, then who has become the Buddha? Then the Buddha teaches consciousness with a self. The Buddha teaches according to your knowledge. The Buddha teaches according to your level of this understanding. The Buddha teaches according to which you are attached to. Because the Buddha can perceive through your mind. He knows what you're lacking. Who knows what you're attached to. Some people don't attach to self. Then the Buddha just teaches without self. If you attach to a self, then the Buddha says no self. It's just like when you teach to a group of students, every student is different. How can you use the one measuring yardstick to measure every student? The most profound, prolific teaching technique is to understand the requirement of every student and design the measure of teaching accordingly. But in the temporal world, there's no such zany teacher who sees through your mind. He can only use one textbook, one measuring yardsticks, one grading system, because it can't see through the student's mind. So what differentiates a good teacher and an average teacher is the good teacher gets to know you personally. The average teachers only doesn't even know your name for the whole term. Who's a teacher in here? There's no teacher, good. Oh, you're a teacher? Hey, is that right? Don't pull your hair because of one word. Oh, some people know self, some people self. Oh, what am I going to do? This word is self. Don't attach to words. Just carry on to walking. Don't worry about the scenery so much. Once you walk, you just walk leisurely and looking at the scenery, and you go on. You don't say, oh, what is this ego doing in there? What is this raccoon doing in there? And you stand there. Oh, a bear is coming. Maybe I should be waiting for him. I mean, you don't do this. You just keep on walking. Don't let these words, don't let these forms to pull you down. Don't attach to them. Just carry on the practice. And then you get your destination. Don't procrastinate because of a certain term that you don't understand. It's just that when we're a student of accounting, we always don't know what's the debit and the credit. And then the supervisor said, don't worry about it, just a double entry system. You put your bank in this column and you put your miscellaneous expenses in these other columns. You put in $6 in here, you put another $6 on the other side to balance it out. You don't pull your hair and say, I don't understand all this. You just carry on doing it and then post a general ledger, and one day you know, oh, it's got all balance. Oh, I know now. The mystery of all this is all clear. When you reach that level, all this mystery will clear. Don't worry about the fog now. It will clear up in the future. Can you explain more about what it means to take refuge and what the ceremony entails? To take refuge, that means you have understood generally the Buddhist teaching, and you would like to you pledge that I want to know more. It's just like the other day, there was a lady there asking, why do I have to ask why about life? Why do I have to ask about why all the time? I just live. I got my breakfast, I got lunch, I got to go to work, and when I'm happy, I laugh. You know, when I'm sad, I cry, and that's it. Why do I have to ask why? Why do I have to ask, where do I come from? Where will I go after death? How come there's inequalities? How do I improve my life as well as my folks' life? How do I get liberated from all these mental afflictions I have? How come there's so many sufferings in this world? How do I liberate myself, and how do I help others to liberate their sufferings? This is why. There's a lot of whys in life, not just the how. It's because of the why that we progresses. It's because of the why that we clear all the doubts. It's because of the whys that we clarify misunderstanding. You've got to have a lot of whys to ask. So taking refuge is to say, I know I'm on the right path. I pledge that I want to carry on. I know this hiking path is good, and I want to take it. It's good for my health, and I continue to walk this path. And in order to show my determination, I want to take refuge under the Buddha, just to show my determination I'm walking this path, and I won't sidetrack. If I don't take this determination, so I just do it leisurely, then it's just like I'm not taking any oath. If I take an oath that this is what I would do, I put it down in writing. It's imprint on stone. It's carved in stone that I want to benefit everybody. It is put in stone that it is government of the people, for the people, by the people, and we will follow it that way. You put it in stone, you carved it. And the other guy say, no, okay, if the time comes, I will govern it, government for the people, by the people, and you can change your mind all the time. You don't have the determination. You put it in your agenda. Every meeting has to have an agenda. If you say, I don't need an agenda, we just come for a meeting, we just yell out whatever we want to say, and who knows? Whatever comes up in a meeting, we talk about it. What's the difference? The difference is you got it in stone. You got it in an agenda. You don't have an agenda right now. You have an agenda to go by. Which one you prefer? You want a meeting with agenda, or you want a meeting without an agenda? You want a life with objective, or you want a life without objective? You want to do something with determination, or you want to do something without determination? Which is your choice? Of course, you want to take the one that with determination. You want to take the three refuges. You want to pledge that you want to follow the Buddha's teaching. That's taking refuge. And what the ceremony entails? Half an hour or an hour. Taking an oath, like you pledge that you follow the Buddha's teaching, and you will continue and continue. You don't have to take a vow that, oh, I will follow the Buddha's teaching. If I don't follow it, I will be struck by lightning. You don't have to do that like that. It's just your determination. I remember many years ago, a student talked to me. He said, I asked him where you come from. He said, certain college. And then later I know they have conversation among themselves, say, don't tell them we are from biblical college. Well, what's wrong with biblical college? Everybody can become the Buddha. But if you tell them we are from biblical college, they may treat you differently. They won't invite you to a lunch. No, I said, we don't differentiate like that. Every sentient being has that potential to become the Buddha. Does not matter what you believe in. Christianity, you're a Hindu, everybody has that potential. Do you have a mind? If you have a mind, you have that potential to become the Buddha. So you are the future Buddha. Everybody is a future Buddha. No exception. So if you are the future Buddha, how come we don't invite you for lunch? Because who knows, maybe one day you become Buddha faster than me. And then you can enlighten me. You come back and help me. Does karma give effect only at our next life? Or also could be resulted in this life? Good question. What is karma? First of all, what is karma? Karma is an accumulation of your behavior, your speech, and your thought. It's been accumulated since many, many lives ago. It's an accumulation. And if we just take a cross-section of this present life, whatever you have done in this present life, maybe you have done some killing, some lying, some cursing, and you've done some good stuff also, then you create karma. When you create karma in this life, if the time mature, because creating karma, that means you have sowed the seeds, the effects already. When would the cause come out? It depends on the maturity of the causes. It's just like when you plant a pear tree, an apple tree, they have different maturity time. An apple tree maybe in 2 years, a pear tree maybe 5-6 years, grape tree 2 years. So when would you get the result of the karma, the karmic result? We don't know, depends on the maturity. Some mature faster, some mature much later. So would you get the effect in this life? May or may not. Say if somebody kills somebody in this life, he got away. He won't get caught by the police, for example. You think he can get away with it? When they go into the next life, finally, he will have to repay it. So you may get the karma in this life if the maturity comes this life. It depends on different maturity time. It's just like if you're in a party, you talk to a stranger and somehow you get angry talking to that stranger. And then you scold each other, maybe you even fight. And then you don't see each other again. But somehow, next week you may see him again. And then there will be another heated argument, or something worse happen, or you may never see that guy again. It depends on the circumstances. We call it causality, causation. However, sometimes you can make an effect to happen faster, earlier. If you plant an apple tree, if you really pay attention to it, a lot of water, a lot of fertilizers, a lot of manpower, you put it in not a shady place, in a sunny spot, you spend all the efforts to make that apple mature in 2 months. It may be possible, or in this case, say, if it matures in 2 years, you have contributed so much work to it, it matures in 1 year. Why? Because you make it, you put in all the causes to make it happen earlier. It happened that way. Say, for example, if I want to, if I have I'm in grade 9, I'm in grade 10 now, and I have that intention of going to UBC, university, or Simon Fraser or Douglas College, you name it. I have that intention to go to college one day, university someday. I want to be an engineer, a doctor. I have that intention. And I don't just wait there and doing nothing. My dad told me to work harder at it. So every day I really do my homework, I really work hard. In other words, you're contributing a lot of causes to make that dream come true. On the other hand, there were another students say, I don't really care. It depends on, so what, going to the university, so what? You don't really care about making these things happen. You're not germinating any causes to make it happen earlier, then it won't happen. So you are the creator of your own life. The concept of karma helps you not just religiously, it helps you in your everyday life. So the Buddhist teaching is a way of living. It's not a blind faith to believe in a God. It's a way of living. How do you lead a happier life? You can make things come true, creating your own destiny, creating more causes to make that cause to happen, to make the effect come earlier. So you ask me, will it come in this life or the next life? It depends on how hard you work at it. It may come through this life, it may come through in the next life. And karma is a concept that is very profound. We have individual karma and we also have common karma. There's two broad categories of karma. What is common karma? We all come in this world. We enjoy the air of Canada, the water of Canada. We enjoy the same supermarket, same way. We enjoy the same. We have facilities from the same hospital. We all having the same kind of common karma. You are in an underdeveloped country. You may not enjoy it as much as you are in a developed country. So the karma in an underdeveloped country is not the same as in a developed country. And we are now having the same karma of coming to the same country, enjoying the same democratic system, for example. The same supermarket, the same hospital, the same air, the same water, the same transportation system. There's common karma. However, in the common karma, everybody has individual karma too. We are living in Richmond, but you live in a $3 million mansion. I live in a shack. You are handsome and I'm ugly. You are clever and I'm stupid, for example. Everybody has individual karma too. Within common karma, you have individual karma. It's just like in a tsunami. Some people get washed away, and some people didn't get killed. Some people get killed, some people didn't get killed. Individual karma is different. Common karma is very massive. But within common karma, you can improve your individual karma. Through a lot of ways, you can improve your individual karma. So karma also has the time dimensions of the past, the present, and the future. Whatever you have created, the karma created in the past, it already happened. Don't get remorseful on it. Don't get worried about it. You just keep on purifying yourself. So in other words, if you have done some bad karma in your past life, but in this life you're so good, you're so considerate, you're so generous, that all these bad effects will not come out in this life. They may come out in a later life. In this life you may enjoy a better life because you attempt to change them. You are the creator of your own life, not God. You yourself created it. Don't blame God for what you've suffered. It's you yourself. You make it happen. You make it come to. All these past things, don't worry about them. Just attempt to change them. There are also heavy karma and light karma. Heavy karma are those karma that, for example, you have killed, you have committed serious sexual misconduct like raping, like abusing. You know, all this heavy karma you may immediately bring you to effect, immediately. Light karma, for example, you have blamed somebody, and you have cursed someone, but you really don't have a strong intention of cursing, then you have light karma. So you can research into Google it into karma to see different categories of karma. It helps you to build a better life. If you understand karma, understand reincarnation.
Can you have intentions and desires if you're not too attached to them, if you're not clinging to them, and have them not be harmful?
Not all intentions and desire are harmful. Sometimes you need desire. You can't eliminate and say all desires are bad. No. I desire to do good. I desire to be the Buddha. I desire to finish A student in university. You got to build up that desire. Only bad desire you don't want. I desire to kill. I desire to steal. I desire to slander. I desire to... Those bad desires, you don't build them up. Good desires, you have to continuously build up your good desire. Creating your good intentions Anybody who do not have desire is not working well in his life. I don't desire to do anything because he mistakenly taken the Buddha's concept of emptiness as not doing anything. Emptiness gives you the positive feeling of doing more things, but you don't attach to them. For example, I desire to go to university, and I desire to go into medical school, and I tried very, very hard. I couldn't get into medical school. I got into engineering because I only have 91%. In getting into medical school, I have got 96. I'm short of 5 marks. But then I feel very unhappy. I kick myself. I blame myself. I become so negative that I want to commit suicide because I couldn't get into medical school. That's not a good desire. You cannot attach to your desire. You have to analyze the situation. You have tried your best already. You get into engineering. What's the problem with engineering? You need civil engineering. You need a lot of engineers to work out to help the society, not just doctors. So you have to learn to have desire, but you don't attach to it. You understand what I mean? So okay to have desire. You need desire. You need a motive. You need to be motivated, but not desiring bad things. Now here comes a beautiful lady. Oh, it's really good. I desire to be friends with that lady, and I desire to have this relationship. I desire this and I desire that. That's not a good desire. If you have a sensuous desires that has no backing of it, it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy one-way love, for example. And you by all means you do that to achieve your desire, you may commit a lot of criminal offenses. So you have to have desire. Don't eliminate your desire. You need desire to live. The right desire, yes.
Is that true that even good karma delays my enlightenment?
True. So if you have good karma, so you are generous, you're very considerate, and in this life you're so generous that you always want to. You give out all your money for charity. And for example, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you went out to the forefront of a battle and you help those wounded soldiers and somehow you kill yourself. Now, Norman Bethune, he went up to the battlefield and helped all these wounded soldiers. Because of your good karma that you created, then in your next life, you become a very good person. Or you become a very rich man, a very healthy man, because you enjoy the good karma that you have done. Now, take for another example. According to the sutra, those who are billionaires in this life, they must have done a lot of philanthropic charity in their previous life, and they're enjoying a lot of money. But when they enjoy the good karma they sow in the previous life, they enjoy the cause in this life, they're so rich. When they're so rich, then a lot of people flock to them. They have more girlfriends coming because they want their money. They have billions of dollars. These friends want to get some from him, and he get associated with bad fellows, and he's done all sorts of misconduct. And then he roll into the next life again. Because of the good karma, he committed bad karma again. So this has become a loop. So the best is to purify of all karma, good and bad. Don't aim at going to heaven. You've done all the good karma, you may go to heaven. But heaven is not the ultimate place to go. You still have to go through reincarnation. The best is to purify it, not a trace of karma left. That's what we call nirvana. Even the good has to go. Even the good is an attachment. I've done a lot of good karma. Next life, I'll be pretty. Next life, I'll be handsome. I'll be rich. I'll be the king. I'll be the president because of the good things I have done. You are attaching. You're attaching to good karma. Even the attachment of good karma has to go. But it's important you build up good karma first. That's where I answer your question. You have desires. The first to set up is you got to have good desire. But the one who is looking for pure enlightenment, even the good desire, he would let go. Even the good desire is polluted. He will let go even the good. So the Buddha said, I have preached the Dharma, but I have nothing to preach. Because there's nothing to be obtained. Why would I advise you to obtain something? There's nothing to be obtained. That's true karma.
Yes, a car accident.
Yeah.
You get severely hurt. Is that a result of prior bad karma?
That's a result of a lot of causes, and could be the bad karma. A lot of causes make that happen. It doesn't happen without a cause. Because of careless driving, maybe because of the other guy at some drunken driving, or because of you, or because of many, many causes. It doesn't happen without a reason. And all causes come because of karma. Sometimes good karma, neutral karma, and bad karma. It doesn't happen without a reason. Everything happened with a reason. So what we should always do is build up good reasons, build up good causes, so that good result will come out. That's the first step. Always contribute to good causes so that the good result will come out earlier. You understand what I mean? So don't do bad causes.
So, Venerable, so what I hear you saying is to do good causes and to live honest and pure, try to do the best I can, but not be attached to the outcome. Is that what you're saying?
Don't attach to the outcome?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to attach to the outcome. By not attaching to the outcome does not mean that it will stop the outcome. The outcome will come naturally. The outcome is not determined by God or by Buddha. It's a natural cause. It takes its natural causation. So it does not matter what you attach to it. You attach to it, it comes. You don't attach to it, it comes. So why attach to it? It will come naturally. Yeah?
Just one point to clarify. So you're saying, but by attaching to it, don't you affect the outcome?
By attaching to it, by attaching it, it affects the way you see the outcome. It does not affect the outcome. It affects the way you see the outcome. Okay? Yeah. Yes?
The other side to suffering, and everybody suffers.
Yeah.
Number one on the noble, Four Noble Truths. The other side of suffering is we're burning off unwholesome karma. So I'm in my bed with a flu. Well, the other side is I'm burning off past bad karma.
Yeah, you're burning up, yeah. You're burning off the saliva in your plucked up nose. It gets clearer and clearer. You're burning off, yes, you're burning off your bad karma. You're suffering now if you have the attitude, say, oh, I won't get remorseful about it. I don't kick myself and hate myself. How come I have a flu? How come it happened to me? I have an examination next week. Or I have an examination tomorrow, and now I have this flu. Oh, I shouldn't have this. I mean, you don't have to kick yourself like that. Yeah?
Also, the relationship between intention and karma. Maybe there is a wholesome intention, but the outcome is unwholesome through no fault of one's own. I had a good intention when I started the energy, but the outcome was unwholesome.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah, we call it a blessing in disguise. So whatever bad things it comes, maybe there's whatever bad things that come, maybe a blessing in there. The good hides in the bad, and the bad hides in the good.
In Christianity, they believe in Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
In the actual beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Does Buddhism believe in an actual beginning?
It's a good question. Belief in an actual beginning has a contradiction in logical thinking.
Yeah.
Like water, for example, you scoop, a stream of water is coming down into a lake. And then you scoop that water and you say, where's the beginning of this scoop of water? And then you think, and the water in the lake under the sunshine evaporates and gets into the sky as cloud. And the cloud gets to a temperature, it condenses. When it condenses, it becomes a raindrop. It falls back onto the mountain, and the mountain permeates into the stone and the soil, and then it permeates back to the water, to the lake. It seems to be a loop, but where's the beginning? You can't find it. Yeah. Chicken and egg, you don't know what's the beginning. Some people say dinosaurs are the beginning of life. And I said, where did dinosaurs come from? From the egg. Where did the egg come from? If you keep on doing this beginning, and also, if you think of a beginning, that there's a creator, there's a beginning, that means there's an end.
Yeah.
If there's an end, then there wouldn't be a beginning. Because when it ends, by definition, it ends, how come you have a beginning? So that's not a logical thinking. And the way I look at it, after pondering about it and reading quite a bit of sutras, knowing this, the origin of life, or more or less the origin of life, you really have to go beyond your discriminating thinking. But right now, the most important is not to find the beginning or to understand the end. And the Buddha gave a good example. Someone is crossing the road in a crossroad, and there was an arrow shot into his chest. Not right into his heart, so he's not dying, but he's wounded seriously. An arrow in the chest. And everybody is flocking up onto, oh, this guy is wounded. There's quite a few people and said, oh, he's wounded. Where did the arrow come from? And the other guy said, oh, it's from the east. No, it's from the west. And what is this arrow made up of? Oh, it's made up of the stone, and it's a wood, and there's a little feather in there. And how come the color is in red? They ask all kinds of questions about the origin. And then the man died. Because the first thing is rushed him to the hospital. You got to find a medicine first before he died. Not to inquire about the beginning of the arrow, whether it's the arrow made, and who made the arrow, and how come he got shot. And if you ask too many questions, you're already dead. That guy is already dead. So the first thing is to get the medicine to cure, to heal him. And the Buddha said, yes, you got to understand the healing techniques first. Do these healing techniques in meditation, in chanting, in precepts, in understanding the world, and how to practice accordingly to purify your consciousness, to purify your karma. That's the medicine that you have to apply first. When you get the medicine and you get healed, then you can come back to the crossroad and find out more about where the arrow comes from. What is the arrow made up of? How come it's a poisonous one? You find out because you have a chance to find out later when you get completely healed. Not at the juncture when you're wounded, and we are all wounded now with mental afflictions. We have that egoistic attitude, we have jealousy, hatred, fear, disappointment, greediness, you name them. We have all kinds of mental afflictions. We've got to heal them first before we can proceed. Not waiting. We can't wait anymore. Because if you wait too much, then you're dead. You roll into the next life. So don't think about the beginning. And also it's illogical to think about the beginning. Because a beginning means an end. And also it's very dangerous to think about beginning and end. That's a criminal's attitude. You know why? Because the criminal said, I can do whatever I want as long as I'm happy. If I'm pleased, I can do whatever I want. I can kill, I can steal, I can rape, I can do whatever I want as long as they satisfy my senses. I like to do it, I can do it. Because when I die, nothing exists anymore. Why don't I get more enjoyment? I want to enjoy my senses every day. Whatever I want to do, as long as I feel happy, I can hurt others. My intention is to satisfy myself. Because I come to an end anyway. You come to an end anyway. That's a criminal's attitude. And also, if you believe in a beginning and an end, you are not going according to the natural concept of causation. Because whatever there's an effect, there is a cause. So if it comes to the end, that means whatever causes you have sown will not have an effect because you come to an end already. In this life, I have done all kinds of evil actions, evil speech. I've germinated all these bad causes, and I died. No more effects. Then you're cutting causation, because every effect has a cause. Every cause has an effect. If you say there's an end, no more effect, then you're disrupting the natural cause, the natural philosophy of causation, because it is cause and effect. Causation is a natural way of life.
Nirvana is the end of everything. There's no more effect and cause anymore.
Well, if nirvana is the purification of your karma. It's ending your polluted karma. As to whether it's an end to reincarnation. But we get into an enlightenment procedure that we a whole wisdom of horizon of wisdom is open up to you. What you see in there, we have to get into Nirvana to know about it. But right now we know that we have to get out of the prison first. When we're in prison, our first thing to do is to get out first. And then you say, oh, I'm in prison now. I don't know what the outside world is. I heard about freedom. I don't want to get out. I want to be in prison. So you never get out of prison. But what do you see when you get out of prison? You'll see later because you have the freedom. You can see the whole world. And you thought when a frog is at a well, it can only see the sky as that circle. When it was at the bottom of a well, the frog sees the whole sky is that circle only. When it gets out, the horizon is different. You're much wider. What would you see? I don't know. I've never been in Nirvana. But I know that I got to get out of the well. I know that I have to get out of that well. I have to get out of prison. That's my first step to do. I got 4 questions in here. And the first question is, Master, what to do if suddenly we feel itchy at the back during meditation? Get a scraper, like a long wooden stick. On the one hand, then you have a few claws, carved with a few claws. A small one, you can get them from Chinatown. Let's scratch it. Just put it in and scratch it. Is it that simple? So if you are lack of a scratcher, do you call that a scratcher?
Yes.
If you're lack of a scratcher, then you know what to do. Then you contemplate, it is not me that is itching. It is my skin. Nothing to do with me. It's my apartment, and on the apartment, the wall of the apartment is a little bit of something coming off, or there's a bumblebee on the apartment wall. So it's not me that is itchy, it's my skin. It's one of my, of the 36 materials that make up of my body. And we call it the skin. And the skin is the traveling bag of our existence, of my existence. So if a bumblebee gets into my traveling bag, I don't want to kill the bumblebee. I just let the bumblebee stay there. So it's not you that is itchy. Why do you have to feel that it is you that is itchy? See if that works. If that don't really work, just get a scratcher. It's easy to solve the problem. About $1.50. Yeah. It's bamboo, make of bamboo. Okay, next. What is the significance of the black roofs with the brown wraps? What you mean is you have a black room and then you have wrap it with a brown wrap. If you wear a black robe, that usually signifies that you have taken the 3 refuges. You have taken like a uniform in a scout, a Boy Scout or Girl Scout. That you've been given a hat or uniform. It's a symbol of you have taken the 3 refuges. That means you already have registered for all the courses to go to university, the University of Enlightenment. So usually people wear black robe. And then the next step after wearing the black robe is to take precepts, the 5 precepts. Abstaining from killing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from cursing, double-tonguing, flattery, etc., etc. So you have taken the precepts, you have vowed to follow these precepts, and you never kill. You never kill for food. You never commit sexual misconduct, for example. You never commit stealing. So if you have vowed that, if you have taken those vows, then you wear the brown wrap, the sash. There's a sash, it symbolizes that you have taken those precepts. And some people may argue, do I need to take those precepts? Do I need to restrict myself? Abstaining from killing, I don't want to restrict myself in doing that. I like go fishing. And sometimes if some of my friends come to call me to go hunting, I like to hunt deers. But if you are committing killing, you already have spread the causes for lack of longevity, for bad health. And you will suffer for anything that you have done, you have said, you have thought about. There's consequence to it. So actually, we're not talking about precepts that should be taken. You're talking about the black robes and brown sash. I've answered your question already. So that's sufficient. Would you review the ram that reincarnation has? So there's 6 rams of reincarnations. 3 vicious rams and 3 non-vicious rams. So if a person dies, he carry himself to reincarnation, not his money, not his assets, but his karma, whatever he has done. He carried this invisible energy with him onto the next life. How is the next life going to be? It depends on what kind of karmic energy he has created for himself in this life. And you ask yourself sometimes, if you want this, you sit quietly at home and say, you ask yourself, what am I going to be in my next life? Then you continue to ask yourself, what did I do in this life? I have been committing sexual misconduct many, many times. I have stolen many, many times. I have committed crime, I have done that, I've done this. Then you know then where you're going. So there are 6 rams, 3 vicious and 3 non-vicious. What are the 6 vicious ones? The ghost ram, the animal ram, and the hell ram. Victims of hell, they must have done something really, really vicious when they were alive. Then they may go down to the hell ram. And if you haven't done that much, but you still have committed vicious deeds, it depends on the level of vicious deeds that you have committed. Becoming victims of hell really is the lowest stratum. And then in the second level, ghosts, and then another level, animals. So the animal ram is usually higher than the ghost ram and the hell ram. Sometimes in the animal ram, you could be a protected pets of family. They even give you a graveyard to enjoy after you die, and they treat you like a child. So it depends on your karma. To be in the ghost ram is really sorrowful and sad, because you're roaming about. You're roaming about. You cannot go into another life until you have served your karma of being a ghost. You may also suffer from starvation. They're hungry ghosts. That means you're always wanting to eat. You're always hungry, but you see food as the food appears, but when you want to put the food in your mouth, it's become something that you cannot digest. It may become fire. It may become blood. It's something that you cannot digest because of the karma. So that's the reason why we chant mantra to turn the food into digestible material for the hungry ghost. We have that kind of ceremonies to turn, by using chanting of mantra, to turn food into edible material for the hungry ghosts. Turning food, turning water into drinkable, turning food into edible, using the power of the mantra, and using the power of your compassion. And sometimes a mindful mantra can turn food into edible products to the hungry ghost. And there are sutras written that way. And there are also ghosts wandering about in various places for centuries, still thinking about their families, yet they cannot meet them again, and they're always roaming about in loneliness. So those are the three vicious realms. How about the three non-vicious realms? The gods realm, in other words, your sentient beings in heaven. They're all gods. They're all devas. They're all devas. They're not suffering from starvation. They enjoy, they have much higher enjoyment than the human realm. So those are the devas realm, or God's realm. And some people call guardian angels realm. The highest level in the non-vicious realm, or the benevolent realm. The second level is, of course, the Asuras realm. Happen in the other five realms, which means that there is Asuras in the animal realm, there's Asuras in the ghost realm, there's Asuras in the Devas realm. But in some sutra, it's classified as one distinct class. Usually it is referred to as the heavenly Asuras. That means they enjoy the same prosperity and enjoyment as the devas, as the gods, but they always have a competitive and jealousy spirit. They're always jealous, they're always aggressive and competitive. And they're always at war with the devas, with the heavenly sentient beings. It is written in some sutras that they're always at war, and the devas, the heavenly, the sentient beings, always win in many, many occasions. But once in a while, they may lose. They'd be lost. If they lost, the universe that we live in will be in chaos. I don't know what I mean. For example, in the Second World War, it could be that the devas, the heavenly devas and the heavenly Asuras were fighting, and the Asuras win. When the Asuras win, our world is in starvation, in earthquake, in tsunami, and you name them. Not good. But when it's still under the control of the heavenly devas, we are much better. It is written that way in some sutras. And then another strata, it's the humans realm. We are in the human realm. So even in the human realms, we are different. Some people are richer, some people have better health than others, some people are more handsome, some people are ugly, some people are clever, and some people are foolish. They have different encounterings in their life. Why? Because they have different karmas. We have common karma and individual karma. So it is common karma that pull us to the same realm. You are human and I'm human. That's common karma. But within the common karma, there's individual karma. You are richer than I. You're more clever than I. You live in a highly developed country, like the States or Canada. I'm in a primitive tribe. We don't even cook. We eat raw stuff. Or we always go hungry. We're still the human. Our human realm, individual karma, is all different. So those are the 6 realms, and those are just a brief outline, a brief summary of reincarnation. When you know something, know a concept, you have to know what that concept leads you, how that concept educates you to think and to lead your own way of life. It's not just, oh, reincarnation is like this, or it's like an essay that I read. Then after I read the essay, I put it away. It's not like that. You have to think, what lesson do I learn by knowing this? If I know reincarnation, so what should I do to lead my own life happily? How? Well, that takes another 1 to 2 hours. So we're not going to talk about that. But suffice it to say, that's reincarnation. Some people ask me why I don't eat meat, what I can tell them to help them to understand. Yeah, they ask all kinds of questions. I remember many years ago, 30 years ago, I was still 30 or 35 years. I was still eating meat at that time. And later I decided that I should be vegetarian. And then I met my colleagues and fellow students. They always ask questions. Usually the first question they ask, I said, well, you become a vegetarian? I said, yes. The first question they ask is, why? That's the first question. Why do you have to become a vegetarian? It seems that you're suffering if you're a vegetarian. I don't know who is suffering. Eating the dead body of a corpse is enjoyment. Eating the dead body of a cow, of a pig, of a chicken is enjoyment. I don't think so. And people will say you're eating the dead body of a plant, a cabbage. What difference does it make? Well, I think it's better. It's easier to swallow. And also, if I eat a plant, a cabbage, it has millions of seeds that you can replant. If you eat that dog, that cow, it can't reproduce anymore. That one can. So I'm not eating I'm not eating the offspring of the cabbage, because there's millions of cabbage from the seeds. But if I eat this, it's gone. And also, if I kill that cow the cow has feelings. They have maternal love, fraternal love. They have mother, they have family members, and they love each other. And why do I have to make them departing each other? They have feelings. And then some people argue that, how do you know plants don't have feelings? And then I say, how do you know they have feelings? Tell me. Did a cabbage tell you, I have feeling, don't eat me? So you're contradicting yourself by asking the same question. What can I tell them to help them understand? Compassion. Well, I already have told you how to talk to them, right? I've been talking for the past 10 minutes on how about these things. You don't want to kill animals for food. You have compassion. You have mercifulness on living animals. You milk a cow, you drink milk from them, and when they get old, you slaughter them for food. And it's not fair, because they've been working. They're not slacking off. They work every day to give you milk. Or the cow in some country, in Southeast Asia country, they plow, they fill the land, they plow, they farm for you. And the sheep give you the wool. They give the skin, they grow skin for you, for your clothes. And how come you, after they're useless, they're not useful anymore, you kill them? And what kind of compassion you have in holding your knife and stick it into the throat of a tame little goat? So how can I tell them to make them understand? So many things that you can tell them. Next time we should bring a recorder and then record it and then tell them accordingly. Yeah?
Just one thing, a kind of reflection. I have some friends who have
Yeah.
pets, and they love the pets.
Yeah?
And when they press me very much, I just tell them, can you imagine eating
Your own
cat
pet?
or your dog?
Yeah.
Oh, this is different. Oh, how this is different?
Yeah, how come it's different?
Yeah.
You're not eating your own pet, but you're eating other animals. You're eating a cow. A cow could be a pet too to some families. And some farmers, they love the cow, which have been doing work for them so much that they don't want to kill them. They just want to keep them. And there are people like that. Yeah?
In India, they have sort of like old folks' homes for cows.
Oh, what?
Old folks' homes.
Oh, yeah, in India. Oh, good.
And they allow them to wander through the countryside, but when they get really old and frail, they take care of them really well and then allow them to live in dignity for the last few years of their life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for people to understand compassion for animals like that, and it reminds me of a joke about a farmer who he was riding on his tractor, and tractors are sometimes very tippy on unlevel ground. The tractor tipped over and
Yeah.
trapped the farmer underneath. He couldn't get out.
Yeah.
The pig saw this, and he came and grabbed the man by the leg, and he pulled him out.
The pig?
Caught him out.
Oh, yes. With his mouth.
Yes.
Yes.
So one day a stranger comes by, and he sees the farmer, and he sees this one-legged pig.
Yeah.
And he says to the farmer, how is it that this pig has one leg? And the farmer explains, well, that pig saved my life. I was trapped under the tractor, and that pig saved me. Well, how come he has just one leg? Asks the stranger.
Yeah.
Farmer says, a pig that valuable, you don't eat them all at once.
So, yeah, it's cruel.
Yeah.
So bit by bit, the first the leg, the second the other leg. Yeah. So he's forgetful of what good deeds that the pig has done for him. Yeah.
Not much compassion.
Yeah. Yeah. What a story. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes?
I once met a cow. A friend of mine, whose dad had a farm outside Calgary. We went to visit. And he told me, he just was showing me around, and there was a barn, just had one cow in it. And apparently, he told me that before they slaughter the cow, they put them in the barn and feed them grain, and so that it gets fat.
Yeah.
And so the cow can't move.
Yeah.
Just fatten them up, so the meat is tender.
Yeah.
So the cow had a name. I can't remember what the name was.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we came back, and months later, and we were having a steak for dinner. And then my friend said, "Oh, this is so-and-so's meat." I stopped eating right there and then.
Yeah.
The meat.
This is John's meat. So, yeah, how can you tolerate eating meat like that? Yeah, so maybe everybody should be vegetarian now. What's the point of eating meat?
I remember as a boy being on my grandparents' farm, and one day they were slaughtering pigs.
Yeah.
And this one piggy's tied up by the ankle.
Yeah.
And I'm a little boy, and I'm standing by him, and he looks at me with these blue eyes.
Yeah. The pig?
The pig.
Yeah.
And he knows something's not right. I think he was even starting to cry, you know.
Yeah.
But I could see, even as a little boy, I could see on that face, he was worried. He
Yeah.
knew something wasn't right. And he had the look of fear in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have feelings.
They have feelings.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I watched a documentary just one day last week, and it was a futuristic show on life's likely to be in the future. They talk about 2050 being 20 or 10 billion people in the world, and then the argument becomes, how can you sustain that kind of population in the world? The argument that was put forward in this documentary was that eating meat, you could feed 10 billion people. You couldn't feed 10 billion people meat because of the amount of grain it takes to feed a cow, to butcher a cow, so some people can have meat. So everybody would be vegetarian. And they said they would do without dairy products as well. Anything that would be ice cream, milk, those sort of things, because of the amount of food that's necessary to feed the animal to produce it. So, by good luck or good fortune, by 2050, out of necessity, if not out of morality, it appears that we may all be vegetarian.
Yeah, hopefully, because then, you need a lot of grains to keep a cow so that you could eat up the cow. The calories and the requirements to feed that cow it's not more than the kind of grains that you use to feed the cow. You have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, and I feel the same way when I think about cows and pigs and animals like that. But I find it's hard when I think about like oysters and clams.
Yeah.
And how do you come around?
They are also living things. They will be classified under the categories of animals. Clams, they have, I guess they have feelings too, because they cram up their shells when you attack them. And fish and oysters, they all have feelings, and we don't eat them. It's the same. Yeah. Yeah?
Well, so I'm aware that Dalai Lama eats meat now because of a physical health condition. And I understand that, and we've had that discussion over tea.
Yeah.
And I guess the answer for me would be to acknowledge that that animal gave its life so that you can become healthy or maintain your life.
They don't deliberately say, okay, I give up my life for you. I mean, they live, they just want to live. They won't say, well, on the other hand, you can say they sacrifice their bodies for us. That's what you think. But nobody wants to sacrifice their body for you. I mean, I don't think that's the way they think. They just want to survive like you and I. They want to survive. They don't want to die. They're seeking happiness like humans. By the way, yesterday there was a young guy who came to me and he said, Reverend, what is happiness? Well, I said, that's a very broad, general discussions on that. He said, how come I always don't feel happy? And I talked to him, I find that he doesn't have any self-worth. He don't think that he's worth a lot. Everything he do, he's an achiever. After he achieves something, then he's very interested in achieving something. This is what I want. And when he got up to that point, he has got it, and they say, it's not fun anymore. So he's not happy. So he's getting another target, and then when he achieves that, he's not happy. So what is happiness? I can't find happiness. Well, I say happiness, you have to work at it. First of all, you have to define your happiness, and you have to structure yourself and learn what you mean by it, how to achieve it. It doesn't come to you naturally. It's also how you perceive, how you perceive things. So by the way, what's happiness? You have any idea what happiness is all about? Open for discussion.
Contentment or peace of mind. Content with where you are now, with how things are now. This means not to discriminate. That makes me happy, that doesn't make me happy. I am happy in here. Happy and content, both feet on the ground. My practice of vegetarianism is partly to render compassion to animals. First and foremost, the idea of killing is not in my head. I am free from that. That's why vegetarianism is in my practice, is to release myself from the notion that I have the right to take something else's life.
So self-content and peace of mind, right? It's peace of mind.
Yeah.
He said, how come I don't have peace of mind all the time?
Discontent.
Yeah.
Discontent.
Discontent is running rampant without a manager. Desire and discontent. In his case, discontent. He's fulfilling his desires, but discontent is still operating. Discontent is still saying, but it's not enough. And then he's listening. He's listening, okay, it's not enough. Instead of saying, no, it's enough.
Discontent is your answer, yeah? You have something to say?
Well, you asked if anybody had an idea what it was, and something just came, was to have the freedom to give and receive love.
Yeah. To give and receive.
Love.
Oh, yeah, love, yeah. And then you have to define love. You know, what is love? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to make that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so people say, what is love? Sometimes in the Buddhist teaching, love actually is not a good thing. It could be an attachment. So that has to be open for discussion too. Any more? Yeah.
I would think about, if you think of animals, what happens in your family, one of the members, you won't eat them.
If you think of animal as a family member, you won't eat it. But you can say, okay, I'm going to eat it, and I don't think it is a family member. Yeah. So that's okay. Right? Yeah, some people is very argumentative. You know, well, it's easy. Then I don't think it is I think it's an enjoyment. A steak, pork chop, is always good. I don't think of it as a family member. It's somebody else's member. None of my business. So I'm eating it happily. So you can say it that way. Now, first question. I am very new to meditation and have been recently exploring it. During today's meditation, I found it really hard to stay still and keep my mind blank. What are some things you suggest I can do at this point to get better at this? You mentioned that you found it hard to sit still and keep your mind blank. Meditation is not to keep your mind blank. How can you keep your mind blank? Well, meditation is to sit still, yes. If you know how to cross your leg, of course you cross your leg. You don't necessarily have to cross your leg. You can put both legs on the floor and both hands on the kneecaps, straighten your back and relax, and then start to meditate. But meditation is not to keep your mind blank. How can you keep your mind blank? How do you know your mind is blank? How can the mind be blank? The mind is always 24 hours non-stop. The mind is also working even when you are sleeping. We call that a dream. Your mano consciousness is still working. All the other consciousnesses at the front end could be taking a break, but the other sixth sense, the mano, the sixth sense, the seventh sense, the manas consciousness, and the alaya consciousness, they're always working. So in other words, your consciousness is non-stop. It will not end. So the meditation, first of all, is to understand yourself, to know that your mind is working all the time. When your mind is working, sometimes it wanders in every direction. You want to put your mind under control. The mind is like a monkey. The monkey is always going out in every direction, jumping from one branch to another. The branch of greediness, the branch of hatred, the branch of violence, the branch of disappointment, fear, anxiety, you name it. They're all jumping all over the place. So in other words, you have to create your object of concentration, right? The object of concentration, for example, during meditation is, I want to concentrate at the nose tip. I want to visualize myself as a molecule inside my nostril, feeling the air in and out, anapana, anapana, in and out, in and out. I want to take that as my object of concentration. That means I want to leash up the monkey and put it here. I want to have only one object. I don't want to have too many objects. Right now, everybody has a lot of objects to which they roam around. My eyes have the object of matter. When I see this flower, that's my object. When I see you, you are my object. So I have millions of objects. I roam my mind too. Not just the eyes, my ears at the same time have objects. I heard someone shouting, I heard some music, I heard someone talking, I heard criticism, I heard praise. So I have a lot of objects. And when I'm eating, what's my object? My tongue has an object too. My tongue reacts to the taste. Oh, it's bitter, it's sour, it's sweet. And at the same time, I have other objects. So you have millions of objects working on you, and sometimes you're buried in those millions of objects. And sometimes you feel enchanted by these things, and you may go into the wrong direction. When you were eating, or you saw a handsome guy coming by, tall and smart, and you're being attracted to him. And all of a sudden, this sensuous thought in your mind comes into your mind, other than the other objects that you have. You're going for Christmas shopping, and you don't have enough money, and people are not around, then your object will be the greediness to attract you to shoplift from it. So there's so many things we do. Somebody is cursing and yelling at you and criticizing you, you dislike it, you hate it. So your object of hatred, that creates your object of hatred. In other words, when all your six senses react to the environments, at the same time there are mental afflictions, feelings arise at the same time. Like what? Like the officers helping the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister itself is the consciousness. By itself, it cannot work. It has to have all these other ministers, all these other officers helping him to come up with that. Hatred, jealousy, and all that. And he will perform accordingly through speech, through thought, and through action. Meditation is to eliminate all these millions of objects and make it just one. Make it easier to handle. Make your mind familiar with this. So I want to have that object. The object is here, the nose tip. So you simplify everything with one object. That means I can hold on the monkey and put it in front of me. But that still doesn't work because the object, you will lose the object every now and then. Maybe after 5 minutes you lose the object, you think about, oh, I forgot I have turned on my headlight. I forgot to turn it off. Oh gee, when I come out to the parking lot, oh, it would be terrible because I have to charge with the battery. I have to call CAA. Is that CAA? CAA? I have to call. All kinds of thoughts come up in your mind. Your body is meditating, but your mind is millions of miles away. You're out in the parking lot looking for a phone call to the CAA. So your mind is not here. It's not under your control. You've got to put your mind under control. Why did a person commit criminal offense? First question asked, why do you do it? Why do you kill him? I don't know. I wasn't like that. I didn't know why I killed him. Why do you do that? It's not under you're not under your own control. You think you can control your mind? Not. So you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful of whatever you're doing. You have to be mindful that you're not stealing. You have to be mindful that you're not raping. You have to be mindful that you are not lying, cursing, commit sexual misconduct, killing. You have to be mindful of all these deeds that you shouldn't be doing. Can you be mindful of that? We cannot. We have to train ourselves. The Buddha gave us a skillful means of training. The Buddha said, you've got to understand it first. You've got to be your own master. No other master, not God. God is not your master. You are the master yourself. You create your own destiny. You create your own fate with your own hands. Don't blame God for what you've suffered. Don't praise God for what you have obtained. You did it yourself. You're responsible for that. What's more logical than that? So you've got to put everything under control. Now, that's the method. Not just putting your mind blank, you still have an object. That object is in and out breath. I'm a molecule inside my nose tip. I'm feeling the air in. Oh, it's cold air. The air out is warm air, and I count 1. Second breath, I count 2. Third breath, I count. Only counting the in breath, not the out breath. And then when I count up to 10, I go back to 1 again. Why do I do a counting? Because I don't want to leave my breath. This is a method used to eliminate all millions of other objects. This is a method used that you're familiar with your own mastering of your own mind. That, in North America, for a positive thinking trainer, that's concentration. Whatever the mind can concentrate, the mind can do. If you concentrate to do bad deeds, your mind concentrates enough, you can do bad deeds. Good deeds, you can do good deeds. But the power comes from concentration. What differentiates an A student and a fail student? The A student can concentrate a lot faster, a lot more than the fail student. What differentiates a smart kid from a very foolish kid? It's the power to concentrate. The foolish kid cannot sit around. He's moving around all the time. He cannot concentrate. But the smart kid can just sit there, open that page, and he can read a page in a minute. He's an A student. When an employee can concentrate on his work, he becomes an A employee. So the Buddha, it's nothing more than giving you a way of living, a way of understanding yourself, a way of training up yourself to better yourself. It's not about God. Don't get it wrong. It's not about blessings. It's about you, about how you create your own life. It's a style of living, a way of living. And many people don't know about it. They just go around and do what they want to do, and they don't know how to do it. They just bury themselves in bad deeds. How many people really come back and say, oh, that's an intelligent approach to the way of living. I got to understand myself. I got to have confidence. I got to have this concentration. Not just for myself. I want to tell all my folks that they should live that way of living. When you're in the process of concentrating yourself, given the foundations of morality, you're in the process of what? Given yourself a foundation of morality. Of course, if you use concentration to do bad deeds, like Hitler Hitler is very intelligent, but is using his concentration to do the bad deeds in the Second World War. Whereas the Buddha is concentrating it and using his concentration to teach others to concentrate based on the foundation of morality. Hitler is based his foundations on what? Atrocity, authority, suppression, greediness, occupation, dominance. Which way you prefer? So you gotta have, other than the concentration, you gotta have this foundational morality. We call that precept. So there are the three columns of the Buddhist teaching: morality, concentration, and wisdom. It's not enough just to have concentration, because you have the power. You can destroy